Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's episode, which is the breaking news that Tom Girardi has been declared competent, mentally capable of standing trial. I know Erika Jayne must be shaking in her Las Vegas patent leather boots because, girl, you in danger. But before we dive in, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. So this is the full article from the LA Times. It says a federal judge in Los Angeles has found Tom Girardi competent to stand trial, paving the way for the disgraced former lawyer to go before a jury this year and answer charges that he stole more than $15 million from his clients as part of a decades-long fraud scheme. As we know, the fraud scheme was basically like a Ponzi scheme, stealing from his clients to pay off his creditors, and just a hot mess. The decision was announced Tuesday in a brief notation on the case docket that said U.S. District Judge Josephine L. Satin had filed an order finding defendant competent to stand trial. The order was placed under seal until lawyers for both sides have a chance to identify information in it that they want to keep confidential, such as health records or other sensitive material. The ruling was a victory for prosecutors and for the legions of Girardi's former clients who feared that their erstwhile lawyer's dementia diagnosis would forestall a jury trial and accountability for the 84-year-old. Now, this is the thing. I personally do think this is the right call. I do think he's competent. As we know, when he got indicted, Erika Jayne bought a big bottle of vodka and she took it to the the memory facility that he's living in order to drown their sorrows. So clearly he is competent enough to understand what the implications of being indicted were, and he's competent enough to drink alcohol. So I think he's competent enough to stand trial. Erika Jayne has also let it slip multiple times that she is still in contact with him and that he is as sharp as ever. But then on the other hand, she likes to cry and say that he isn't there and he's so mean and blah, 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 blah. Clearly, the judge and the other powers that be saw through this facade. Now, this is big news. This is big news because a lot of people thought he would just skate by, that they would just let him sort of, go out in his glory and his golden years, say he has dementia, and he never has to actually be held accountable. So this is huge. If I was Erika, I would be shaking in my boots because I think they're not done with her. I don't think she's out of the woods. But let's keep going. He's not above the law, said former client Danny Barnes, who estimates he lost about $2 million from a settlement in the 1990s for Lockheed workers who said that they were poisoned by chemicals used at the aerospace facility. Though the indictment does not cover his claim, he said Girardi's prosecution validated all who felt victimized. He's done a lot of harm to people. He's damaged families. He stole our money and our heritage. He knows it, so he should be afraid. Exactly. And it's not about the money. To me, it's about dignity and it's about respect. And I think that's what it's for the victims as well. It's like you looked at us as if we were beneath you, as if we didn't deserve the money that we won, as if somehow you deserved what was rightfully ours because you didn't respect us. You didn't humanize us. You thought you were better than us. So you thought that you had the right to steal from us and to take from us. I think it's about dignity, and I think it's about respect. So power to these people. Joseph Rio Gomez, who suffered catastrophic burn injuries as a teenager in the 2010 San Bruno pipeline explosion, is named in the indictment as one of Girardi's victims. I was pretty surprised, Rio Gomez said at the competency decision. Girardi in 2013 negotiated a $53 million settlement for Rio Gomez and his parents and is alleged to have stolen part of it. I thought they were going to let him off easy. Girardi faces the prospect of dying in prison if convicted of wire fraud charges that carry the possibility of a decades-long sentence. In addition to the Los Angeles case, federal prosecutors in Chicago are pursuing an indictment against Girardi related to the misappropriation of money due to airline crash victims' families. The Chicago court is expected to follow the competency decision in California. So this is great. They're basically saying, okay, one court of law already deemed you competent, so we will just piggyback off of that and deem you competent as well. There's no need to have dueling competency exams or tests, which I think is like the best way to like streamline everything. Both cases derive from what authorities have described as a long-running Ponzi scheme that bilked injured clients of settlement money, while Girardi and his now estranged wife, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Erika Girardi, known as Erika Jayne, enjoyed a historic Pasadena mansion and a lifestyle of private jet travel, lavish meals, and designer wardrobes. Not to mention he completely funded her fake "I want to be a pop star" life. Because Girardi's lawyers asserted his incompetence a year ago at his first court appearance, a magistrate judge entered a plea of not guilty on his behalf. The competency finding is a rejection of arguments his attorneys laid out at a 3-day hearing last year, contending that Girardi suffers from memory problems so profound that he is unable to recognize the lawyers from the meeting to meeting, let alone meet the legal standard of understanding the charges against him and having the wherewithal to assist in preparing a defense. That is a big thing to say. I personally think it's rather disgusting to try and play this dementia card, because there are so many people who really are suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's, and it is such a debilitating and agonizing disease to have, not only to the person but to the people who love them. So for them to sort of exploit this is doubly disgusting. Okay. The one-time power broker, a major Democratic Party donor, and a force in California law, now lives in a locked memory care ward of an Orange County nursing home. Some of the nearly dozen witnesses who testified at the competency hearing said he appeared unaware that his law firm, Girardi Keys, had ceased operations, with some associates relating that he spent long hours scribbling gibberish on legal pads. Yeah, I mean, maybe he thought that because he still legally had his law license up until last summer. So this man was already having all these charges, and he still had his legal license to practice law in California up until about last summer. And before he moved to Orange County, he was still seeing clients. I don't know what people are that deranged to go to him, but he was still seeing clients. So why would he not know? I mean, obviously now Girardi Keys is, defunct and no longer operational, but hey, it was for a while. Prosecutors maintain Girardi is faking. While conceding that he has memory problems, they contended that he was exaggerating his symptoms to escape accountability, part of a career of manipulating judges, other lawyers, and the legal system to his advantage. During the competency hearing, Assistant U.S. Attorney Ali Mohagadaz called it the most important case in Tom Girardi's life. How the judge analyzed the dueling neurological experts and testimony of former friends will not be clear until her ruling is unsealed. Both sides drew on Girardi's May-December relationship with Erika, 52, though she was not interviewed by either side or summoned to offer testimony. She filed for divorce in 2020 following 20 years of marriage, as her husband's firm was on the brink of collapse, but the two have remained in touch, speaking daily, she has said. Girardi bankrolled her music career as a pop singer, Erika Jayne. Side note, don't forget that she's also being sued for about $25 million for money that he allegedly funneled to her Erika Jayne global company. I don't know if they were trying to wash money, launder money, hide money, manipulate money, but she is still facing that lawsuit. Under questioning by Girardi's lawyers, the judge heard about a 2019 incident in which Girardi showed a photo of his wife to an assistant and seemed baffled as to the identity of the woman in the picture. Memory experts who interviewed him for the proceedings said he insisted he had no recollection of his marriage, but in one session with a prosecution expert, he fielded a call from the reality star and immediately asked her about a trip to Spain, where the housewives had gone to film. The judge's order means Girardi will continue spending time in the courthouse once the judge has the seat of his power. The judge's order means Girardi will continue spending time in the courthouse once the seat of his power, but in recent months, sights of angry outbursts and scenes of bewilderment. Arriving in August at Stanton's courtroom in downtown LA, Girardi looked around with a dazed expression and said, "Where are we going?" Later in the proceedings, he insulted a prosecutor with a profanity during testimony and used an expletive to dress down one of his own attorneys for preventing him from speaking to a witness. He told his lawyer then, "You think I've never been in a court before." So even because he's doing all of this performative shenanigans, cussing at people, swearing people down, looking of bewilderment, looking purposely disheveled, the judge saw through that and said, "No, thank you, sir. You are definitely competent to stand trial. and you will be standing trial and you will be accountable for what you did. I think the judge made the right call. And like I said, I think it's disgusting for them to try to exploit, Alzheimer's or dementia in order to get him out of this. Now, what this means for Erika, I'm sure she's shaking in her boots because I don't think that her or Tom ever thought it would get this far. I don't think they ever thought he would be indicted. But now that he is deemed competent, it's going to be pretty bad. And I don't know if they're going to get Erika Jayne on these specific charges, but I think that the feds are going to get her on something. Whether it's tax evasion, wire fraud, I don't know, something. I don't think she's going to get out of this unscathed. She does still have a $25 million lawsuit, but I think something bigger is coming down for her. Give it maybe 6 months, 8, 9 months, maybe after what happens with Tom. But I don't think she's going to get off with this without some type of accountability. I don't know if it's jail time necessarily. I don't know if she's going to join Jen Shah and Clink Clink, but I think something. But I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. Do you think the judge was right that he is able and can to stand trial and he's competent? Do you think that this means that Erika is next? And what do you think justice would actually look like for the victims in this? I think Erika needs to do some time. That's just how I personally feel. I think Tom Girardi needs to do time. It's just how I feel. If nothing for not how she acted after everything. Like she was the victim, not wanting to give gifts, not wanting to give money back, and acting like she's a victim when she's clearly not. So put it down below. Let me know what you guys think. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Bye.